Welcome back to Citizen Extra. We are now into the third hour. Let's immediately get into our discussion right now. But this is preceded by a story. We're talking about the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. They yesterday restricted the sale of all medicines containing an opiate substance known as codeine. All pharmaceutical shops have been directed to stop the sale of the medicine over the counter without a prescription from a medical practitioner in an attempt to end increasing abuse. Sylvia Chebet tells us more.
Benylin with codeine is known in the pharmaceutical world for its effectiveness in soothing irritating coughs. But on the streets, something strange is going on.
Hii dawa watu wanakunywa kama pombe. Uoni mtu kama amelewa, ananuka pombe lakini unaona mtu ni mlevi, unashangaa amekunywa pombe gani?
Pharmacists in Nairobi's Eastleigh estate reckon it's one of the most popular drugs here, an area where cut or miraa chewing is also common.
By the way, in Eastleigh hakuna mtu ajue Benylin. Because hata unaweza na customer wako hapa ananunua dawa, mwingine akuje ajue Benylin, sababu mwambie hakuna. Huyo atabaki akiuliza, huyu ni mtu wa miraa ndio. So they know, everyone in Eastleigh knows Benylin is codeine.
Besides selling here, most of the supplies to the northeastern part of the country are shipped from here. So high was the consumption of the medicine in Mandera that it triggered an alarm.
In 1 month, I think there were sales of over 44,000 bottles of Benylin and codeine. And if you look at the trends, you discover that something is amiss. Yeah? The consumption has gone high all of a sudden.
Now, when the police and the government departments became hard on the actual narcotic drugs, the heroin and all these things, now people are trying to see what else can be used. So in place of that.
Utafikiri mtu labda ni mgonjwa anaenda peleka dawa nyumbani, lakini mtu anamix na soda, Coca-Cola ama Black Currant na anakunywa, unafikiri jamaa anakunywa soda, baada kama 1 hour unaona mtu tena wewe na yeye hali ni tofauti.
Kuna wenye anatumia hivyo peke yake, as in dry, na kuna wenye anamix na soda.
Surgipharm Limited, the marketing authorization holder for Benylin range of cough syrups in the country, noted a spike in demand for Benylin with codeine. Sales records indicate that from the start of the year until November 23rd, 2017, over 437,000 bottles of Benylin with codeine had been sold, while other Benylin products were barely moving.
Codeine is a compound classified as a narcotic.
A substance that suppresses pain, which doctors recommend for high threshold pain, mostly experienced by patients with terminal illnesses such as cancer, but is effective for coughs in very small doses.
Majorly, the ones used for headaches are Sindol, Betapin, and for cough, as you said, Benylin with codeine, Coscof-C. There are quite a number.
It can cause drowsiness because it suppresses the nervous system. It can also make you a bit euphoric.
It's those side effects that have strangely increased demand for the substance.
Walivisugu wanatumia mpaka chupa 5 kwa siku. Na yote si kwa sababu tinye maradhi. Mtu ni mzima lakini anatumia kwa sababu iko na 5% alcohol. Imeshinda hata nafikiri chupa ya bia inafikiri iko na 3.5% of alcohol.
Unknown to those who abuse it, too much of it causes depression and also slows down digestion and breathing.
You can stop breathing.
The Pharmacy and Poisons Board has now restricted sale of all medicines containing codeine over the counter to prescription-only medicine to minimize risk of abuse. Even then, the prescription shall not extend beyond 3 days. Further, all marketing authorization holders are expected to repackage medicines containing codeine to include clear and prominently positioned warnings on the label. There should be no refills either. Sylvia Chebet, Citizen TV.
Well, thank you, Sylvia, for that worrying report. Joining us in studio is a man who was actually part of that press conference that happened yesterday. Dr. Anthony Toroitich, Head of Trade Affairs Department of the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Very worrying statistics that we are seeing there. Give us the numbers, Benylin with codeine, and help us to compare and understand how many sales there were, I don't know, over the last year compared to other cough syrups. Let's start from there just to understand whether we have a crisis on our hands or not.
Yes, actually we have a crisis. self-medication, because last year we had a complaint raised to us that there was misuse of there's abuse of codeine-containing products in the market, and we did an analysis from the suppliers who are distributing these medicines, the authorized suppliers, and we just sampled two of the main products that are having codeine. In short, we had an analysis of Benylin with codeine, and another one called Cosmos C, being manufactured by Cosmos, a local manufacturer. And in that, the statistics for Benylin codeine had really gone up compared with other cough syrups. From January last year up to November last year, they had consumed in Mandera County alone about 437,000 bottles of coke.
Almost 500,000.
And if you compare with the rest, they were averagely going between 20 and 15,000 in the same period.
Really?
Yes.
So you're talking about one product that's about 500,000 numbers are going on, but the others less than 20,000?
Yes, less than 20,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's really a misuse and an abuse of that commodity, and that's what informed us to come up with this press release and reschedule the medicine. Okay.
Talk to us about the effects of codeine. Of course, it's used as a medicine for those who have coughs, colds, and I guess maybe some other ailments. But also talk to us about, if you use too much of this product, what happens to you? Yes, Benylin with codeine generally has codeine-containing products. Let me not use Benylin with codeine because there are quite a number of brands that have the same ingredient. Generally, they are used for two main purposes. They are used in relieving pain, and they have also an effect called antitussive, that is cough suppression. Okay. They suppress cough. So if they are used in small quantities, they are good in suppressing cough, especially irritating cough. And if they are used also in small quantities, they can be good for pain, for relieving of pain. However, if they are misused, they tend to cause some other damages to the body, like for example respiratory depression, because they work with the suppression of smooth muscles, so they can actually make you not breathe well, in simplistic term, and also they can also reduce the digestive system, where you constipate a lot, and in children actually it has been known to cause death, and it's not very good to be used over time. The only disadvantage is, again, is that these are products, codeine itself in pharmaceutical world is classified as a narcotic. That's an opioid narcotic. Opiates tend to cause what you call addiction and dependence. So over time, they make somebody want to use it more because they have some euphoric, they have some kind of effect that makes somebody really want to continue using it. Okay. So they are not supposed to, they can easily lead somebody to start abusing it. One of the youth in that video claimed that codeine has 5% alcohol content in it, and some alcohol brands have 3%, so codeine is worse. Is there truth to that assertion? Yes, actually, if you take the whole bottle, because you know a bottle is not supposed to be taken in whole. Okay. It's a particular dosage that you're supposed to take. Usually, a teaspoon or 2 tablespoons for an adult. A child maybe a half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoonful. That one is usually the recommended dosage. But when you take the whole container, the dosage that you're going to take for the whole bottle will actually have more effect than even one bottle of beer. Okay. Because one bottle of beer has 5% of alcohol, but if you find the effect of that whole bottle of codeine, it will be too much not good, and again it will cause addiction. Let me take you back. You gave us an idea of some of the effects of codeine inside the body, but what happens to an individual who has taken a whole bottle, for example? Do they become drowsy? Do they have the same effects as someone who has taken alcohol or some of these other drugs as well? Yes, they have almost the same effect, but this one makes you a bit calm and you feel better, you feel good. Basically, you feel like you're high. You're feeling pretty nice. Okay. Yes, nice. It's more the effects of heroin kind of effect than alcohol. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. What in your surveys? First of all, did you find out how people are using it with other drugs, for example, and also what sort of people was your survey also able to kind of determine which target group or which group is at risk of abusing this substance? Those are two questions. I don't know if
yes,
you were able to get any data on that.
The data that we had was that there is abuse, especially for people who are misusing it with Mira, Mira users, and because the police also have really become very tough on these hard drugs, they are now in coast region. People are now starting to use it because as an alternative of the hard drugs that the police are trying to restrict their use.
So if you clamp down on hard drugs, some people are going this other way.
Yes, exactly.
Let's talk about the implications of your ban, or at least your message that without a prescription you cannot get this medicine.
Yes.
What happens to an individual like me who used to use Benylin with codeine because it worked, just for coughs, and when I'm done I throw it away? You now effectively have forced me to have to go see a doctor, and maybe I don't have insurance to be able to access this same product. What do I do?
We have not banned all cough syrup. Let me clarify it like that. It's not all cough syrups that have been banned. And we have not even banned codeine with Benylin with codeine. What we have just done is to control its use because it was being abused. So generally, what we encourage generally we don't encourage self-medication by any patient. We encourage that patients should see first a health practitioner at whichever level. They can easily see, let's say, a clinical officer, they can see a medical doctor, and they can see even a specialist, a consultant. So we want them to avoid self-medication. That's we actually do not encourage self-medication. But now, for the issue of Benylin codeine, our act, the way it has this codeine-containing product, the way our act has been made, initially it was put in as a pharmacy-only medicine. So you could easily buy it in small quantities without seeing a doctor. Now we have just rescheduled them that before you get them, you have to get a prescription from a medical doctor. Usually narcotics are not supposed to be prescribed by any other practitioner apart from a medical doctor.
Yes. You made the pronouncement yesterday. How will you enforce this directive?
Yes, it is cascaded because it has cascaded enforcement. It requires we have a strategy that we are doing because it also requires public education. So we have a series of stakeholder engagement where we are going to educate a lot of the public about the implications. The second thing we are going to do, again, because it requires also professionals to be monitored, so there will be, like, our inspectors will do intensive inspections in the prone areas where even our inspectors will pose as patients. They would want to buy them without prescription. And
like
then we would want to see if those people in the pharmacies can sell them. Then we have a disciplinary procedure at the pharmacy and poisons board to discipline the professionals who do not follow our directive. That one will take time. Then again, we are also going to do a risk assessment, as the way you asked. There is a risk benefit assessment. We are really looking at, is it really important for us to have these products in our market? Because there are good alternatives, good alternative molecules which don't cause addiction. Like, we are looking at feasibility of easily talking with the manufacturers whether we can change the formulation not to contain codeine but contain another compound called folcodeine, which has the same effect as codeine and it's less addictive. So there are quite a number of strategies that we're going to do. Again, the other thing is we are also advising the manufacturers and the marketing authorization holders to put a clear label. And you know, when a product is pharmacy only, you can put a lot of things on top of the on the board. Like, if you look at the box of codeine today, it has a lot of details. But when it is a prescription only, it doesn't have many of those details must come out.
I see why. Yes. Because you expect that a patient won't need to have to study; they'll be guided on how to use it. And that's fewer details on it. Globally, off the top of your head, is codeine abuse a problem in other parts of the world? I think I have heard, but I don't have the statistics. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's abused. We are majorly looking at like developed countries. It's abused. UK did exactly the same thing before us. And even I think US also has done the same thing and unrestricted the use of codeine. So it is the same trend. People are trying to misuse the same product.
So Kenyans should not be surprised it's happened in other countries, and there was a need to do it here. Finally, did you ban any other or at least put restrictions on any other painkillers in your meeting yesterday?
No, we only put restrictions on codeine containing products. We are also doing some studies on some other products, but currently we have not yet finalized.
I'm sure you don't tell us about those products.
No, we are looking at even the issue of antibiotics, trying to put more control of getting them without prescription. Those are also things that we are seeing that must be controlled.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Vincent Roitich, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Finding time to be here with us.
Thank you.
That's a little bit about what's happening after that pronouncement by the Poisons and Pharmacy Board there and the decision that they made yesterday. Let's now take a look at some international updates. Steve Bannon has stepped down as the executive chairman of Breitbart News.